R&B superstar, chart-topping artist, and fan of the finer things in life, Chris Brown doesn't just live big, he lives huge. From a jaw-dropping $50 million mansion to a fleet of luxury cars that look straight out of a dream, Breezy's lifestyle is nothing short of wild. But just how much is Chris Brown really worth? And what's it like inside that over-the-top estate of his? Stick around, because we're giving you an exclusive look at his net worth, his multi-million-dollar home, and the exotic cars that make a statement everywhere he goes. Before we jump in, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more celebrity deep dives like this one.
Chris Brown, born Christopher Maurice Brown on May 5, 1989, in the small town of Tappahannock, Virginia, came from pretty humble beginnings. His mom, Joyce Hawkins, ran a daycare, and his dad, Clinton Brown, worked as a corrections officer. Life was simple, but one thing that was always around: music. Growing up, Chris was surrounded by the sounds of classic soul from his parents' record collection, and it didn't take long for him to fall hard for hip-hop. Little did anyone know, those early influences would help shape one of the biggest music careers of the 2000s and beyond. But Chris's road to stardom wasn't smooth. His parents split up when he was just 6 years old, and things took a darker turn when his mom started dating someone new, a relationship that brought violence and trauma into Chris's childhood. In his 2017 documentary, Welcome to My Life, Chris opened up about the pain of watching his mother suffer abuse and how the situation spiraled even more when her boyfriend attempted suicide, which left him blind and even more volatile.
Despite the chaos at home, music became Chris's escape. A natural performer, he taught himself to sing and dance, drawing major inspiration from the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. He started singing in the church choir and performing at local talent shows, and by the age of 11, he stole the spotlight at a summer camp talent show that would mark the beginning of his journey. With encouragement from his mom, Chris started mimicking stars like Usher, and it quickly became clear that he had something special. His family backed him all the way, helping him pursue his dream. At just 16, Chris made a bold move. He dropped out of Essex High School to go all in on his music career. That gamble paid off fast. Major record labels came knocking, and Chris Brown was suddenly on the fast track to fame. His self-titled debut album, Chris Brown, dropped when he was just 16, and it was an instant hit. The lead single, Run It, exploded, making Chris the first male artist since Montel Jordan in 1995 to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Talk about a killer start. From there, he kept the momentum going, solidifying his spot as one of the biggest names in R&B and pop. Chris Brown kept the momentum going strong with his second album, Exclusive, which dropped in 2007. Just like his debut, it was a hit, landing at #4 on the Billboard 200 and delivering another chart topper with the infectious single, Kiss Kiss. As his fan base exploded, so did his ambition. In 2009, he released Graffiti, followed by FAME in 2011, a game-changing moment in his career. FAME not only hit #1 on the Billboard 200, but it also earned Chris his first ever Grammy Award for Best R&B Album.
But Chris wasn't slowing down. In 2012, he dropped Fortune, which also debuted at #1, proving he wasn't just a star, he was a force. He kept pushing boundaries with X, an album that showed off his range and willingness to experiment with different sounds and styles. And the hits, they just kept coming. In 2015, he teamed up with Tyga for Fan of a Fan, then released Royalty the same year, a personal project named after his daughter. That was followed by Heartbreak on a Full Moon in 2017 and Indigo in 2019, which became his third album to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200. Early in his career, he hit the stage with some of the biggest names in the game, opening for Beyoncé on her The Beyoncé Experience tour and supporting Rihanna on her Good Girl Gone Bad tour. Over the years, Chris has sold over 197 million albums and singles worldwide, putting him among the best-selling artists of all time. And when it comes to awards, he's stacked. He's got a Grammy, 18 BET Awards, 4 Billboard Music Awards, and 14 Soul Train Music Awards under his belt.
In 2023, Chris made history yet again, beating out Elvis Presley for the most RIAA Gold-certified singles by a male artist. He also holds the record for the most Billboard Hot 100 entries by a male vocalist. That same year, his song Under the Influence pushed him into legendary status, making him just the 5th artist in history to land 10 number ones on the Billboard R&B Hip-Hop Airplay chart. Let's be real, Chris Brown isn't just a superstar, he's a straight-up music icon. Over the years, he's built an insane career, and with that success has come some serious wealth. And when it comes to how he spends it, think next-level real estate and a car collection most people only dream about.
Chris has stacked up some jaw-dropping properties, and each one seems to outdo the last. His homes aren't just for living, they're luxury experiences, complete with high-end features like in-home recording studios, resort-style pools, and garages big enough for his fleet of rare cars. One of the most stunning? His $4.3 million mansion in Tarzana, Los Angeles. This place is massive. We're talking 8,300 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and solar-powered everything. It's high-tech, eco-friendly, and all about that California indoor-outdoor vibe, thanks to floor-to-ceiling glass walls with epic views. Chris is big on privacy, and this house has it locked down with a smart security system and a 16-camera setup watching every angle. Got cars? No problem. The driveway and garage can fit up to 13 of them. Yeah, 13!
Inside, the kitchen and dining area strike the perfect balance between sleek and cozy, while the master bedroom is basically a luxury retreat. But the real showstopper? His walk-in closet, which is more like a sneaker museum. For any sneakerhead out there, this is the holy grail. Rare kicks, exclusive drops, and collector's editions all lined up like art pieces. From the stunning living room views to the peaceful mountain scenery outside, this home is more than just flashy. It's a full-on vibe that reflects Chris's creativity, style, and success. But the mansion is just one part of the breezy lifestyle. The man's also got a serious thing for exotic cars, and his collection is wild. Over the years, Chris has built one of the sickest car collections in the game. From muscle cars to supercars, futuristic EVs to off-road beasts, his garage is the kind of place car lovers dream about.
Let's take a look at a few standouts. First up, the 2010 Dodge Viper. This American muscle icon is all about raw power, packing an 8.4-liter V10 engine that punches out 600 horsepower. It hits a top speed of 202 miles per hour. Yeah, it's fast. And knowing Chris, it's probably decked out with custom touches to match his bold personality. It's loud, aggressive, and built for thrill seekers. Next, we've got the 2014 Lamborghini Gallardo, a must-have in any serious luxury car lineup. With its sharp design, 5.2-liter V10 engine, and 552 horsepower, this car is pure performance and style. The Gallardo is a head-turner everywhere it goes, and you know Chris's version is customized to be anything but ordinary. Chris Brown's garage isn't just full of luxury, it's full of legends. And one of the biggest headliners? The 2022 Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. This thing is a beast. With a 6.5-liter V12 engine cranking out a ridiculous 770 horsepower, the SVJ doesn't just drive, it flies, hitting top speeds of 217 miles per hour. It's one of the fastest Lambos ever built, combining insane speed, aggressive aerodynamics, and sleek Italian design. It's the kind of car that screams power and style. Basically, the perfect ride for someone like Breezy.
Next up is a true icon, the Porsche 911. Even with all the supercars in Chris's collection, the 911 still stands out. It's got that classic look, unmatched handling, and a twin-turbocharged engine that keeps things fast but refined. With its signature rear engine setup, the 911 is made for those twisty roads, but it's just as at home cruising the highway. It's fast, stylish, and practical, and that's why it's been a favorite for decades. But Chris doesn't just flex on the pavement, he's ready for anything. Case in point, the Rezvani Tank. This isn't your average SUV. It's an armored, military-inspired monster, complete with bulletproof glass, night vision, and a roaring V8 engine under the hood. Whether it's Hollywood or the hills, this ride is built to handle it all. It's the definition of over the top, and Chris owns it like a boss. And then there's the Rolls-Royce Wraith, the definition of elegance on wheels. With a 6.6-liter twin-turbo V12 pushing out 624 horsepower, it floats on the road with buttery smooth power. Inside, it's next-level luxury. Handcrafted leather, polished wood trim, and the famous starlight headliner that makes the ceiling look like a night sky. If the Aventador is built to make jaws drop, the Wraith is built to impress quietly.
Chris Brown's car collection is like his music career. Bold, versatile, and always on the edge of what's next. From lightning-fast supercars to futuristic tanks and timeless luxury, his garage is a perfect reflection of his personality and taste. Which one's your favorite? Drop a comment below. We want to know what you'd drive if you had Breezy's keys. Chris Brown might be known for his music, but his hustle goes way beyond the stage and studio. He's quietly built a serious business empire, stretching across industries like real estate, fashion, food, tech, and more. Whether it's launching brands or making smart investments, Chris has proven he's got sharp instincts both on and off the mic. Back in 2007, he launched his own record label, Chris Brown Entertainment, under Interscope Records. At first, the label focused on spotlighting up-and-coming talent like Kevin McCall, Sabrina Antoinette, and Seven Streeter. But by 2014, Chris shifted gears and used the label as a home base for his own music, giving him more creative control and ownership. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2015, Chris revealed he owned 14 Burger King franchises. Yep, you heard that right. It was a low-key but smart move into the food business, giving him passive income through a proven brand. However, by 2022, he decided to cash out, selling off his stake, a sign that he was ready to pivot and level up in new ways. Chris is also super passionate about art and design, which has led to some pretty unique creative ventures. In 2012, he teamed up with world-famous artist Ron English to launch Dumb English, a limited edition line of toys and sculptures that debuted at the Toy Art Gallery in LA. Then in 2013, he partnered with Sprayground to drop the Invasion Capsule Collection, a bold, limited-run backpack line that showed off his flair for edgy design and streetwear. And he didn't stop there. In 2021, Chris even stepped into the snack game with Breezy's Cosmic Crunch, his very own breakfast cereal created with SoFlo snacks. It was a fun, pop culture-inspired collectible that mixed nostalgia with flavor, and fans ate it up. Fast forward to March 2024, and Chris Brown stepped into yet another booming industry, vaping. He launched the CB15K by Chris Brown disposable vape, jumping on the growing popularity of disposable e-cigarettes. It was a bold move that showed he's always watching the trends and ready to cash in. But his business hustle didn't stop there. In May 2022, Chris entered the NFT space by teaming up with a group of respected Black digital artists to launch the Oracles, a collection that blended digital art with physical streetwear drops. It was a creative project that tapped into both tech and fashion in a way only Chris Brown could pull off. Of course, Chris Brown's career hasn't been without drama, and his personal life has often made as many headlines as his music. Despite his incredible talent, he's faced his fair share of legal trouble, public feuds, and lawsuits that have cast a long shadow over his professional success.
One of the most infamous incidents went down on June 14, 2012, at NYC's YP nightclub in Soho. What started as a night out turned into a violent clash involving Chris, rapper Drake, and their entourages, reportedly over tensions surrounding Rihanna. The fight left 8 people injured, including NBA star Tony Parker, who ended up needing surgery to remove glass from his eye.
Drake was never arrested, but Chris's lawyer claimed he started the fight. Chris fired back on social media, throwing shade and fueling the feud even more in the weeks that followed. Then, in January 2013, Chris got into another altercation, this time with singer Frank Ocean. Reports say Chris punched Ocean during a heated exchange outside a recording studio, which led to a police investigation. But Ocean decided not to press charges, preventing the situation from escalating further. Sean Kingston, who was present, later said Ocean and his cousin had actually provoked the fight, sparking even more debate and controversy. Later that year, in October 2013, Brown was arrested again, this time in Washington, D.C., for felony assault. Allegedly, Chris broke a man's nose after the guy refused to take a photo with him. He was held in jail for 36 hours before being released, and the charge was later reduced to a misdemeanor. Just a week after that arrest, Chris checked himself into rehab, though his stay didn't last long.
In March 2014, Chris Brown hit another rough patch. He was kicked out of rehab for breaking the facility's rules and sent straight to Northern Neck Regional Jail. At first, it looked like he'd be out by April, but a judge denied his bail, keeping him behind bars. Then in May, things got worse. He was sentenced to an extra 131 days for violating his probation. After serving part of his time and earning some credit for good behavior, Chris was finally released on June 2, 2014. But the legal issues didn't stop there. In June 2016, Chris was hit with a lawsuit from his former manager, Mike G, who accused him of assault, battery, and even false imprisonment. Mike G claimed that Chris, who hired him in 2012 to help repair his public image, locked him in a room and physically attacked him. Chris clapped back, accusing Mike G of stealing money, which Mike flatly denied. The whole thing dragged on until 2019, when both sides settled out of court under a confidential agreement.
Then came 2022, and Chris found himself in more legal hot water, this time over copyright issues. He was slapped with 3 separate lawsuits involving his songs Privacy, No Guidance, and Pills and Automobiles. One major claim came from UK music label Greensleeves, who said Privacy illegally borrowed a lyric from Red Rat's 1997 dancehall hit Tied Up Skirt. Oddly enough, Red Rat himself had no problem with the sample, but Chris still ended up settling the case with Greensleeves. On the personal side, Chris's love life has been just as eventful as his career. From 2007 to 2009, he dated global superstar Rihanna, and their relationship quickly became the focus of major media attention. But it took a tragic and very public turn when Chris was charged in a domestic violence case that shocked the world and forever changed how the public saw him. After the fallout, he was briefly linked to model Jasmine Sanders in 2010, and later to TV personality Drea Michelle in 2011. But later that year, he began dating model Karrueche Tran, a relationship that would turn into an on-again, off-again roller coaster over the next few years.
In 2012, rumors started swirling about a possible reunion with Rihanna, especially after the two dropped remixes on each other's songs. By early 2013, Rihanna confirmed they were back together, saying their relationship had grown and matured. She even praised Chris, calling him someone with a great heart who always made her laugh. But by May 2013, it was over again, and shortly after, Chris reunited with Karrueche. That relationship, too, eventually hit a breaking point. Reports surfaced that Chris had fathered a child with another woman, and that led to their final split. Now a father of 3, Chris says being a dad has changed him in a big way. He's become more open about how much his children mean to him, and he's also spoken about the role faith has played in turning his life around. Raised in church, Chris says his religious roots gave him perspective, especially after spending time behind bars. In 2014, he publicly thanked God for getting him through everything, calling it a moment of real humility and growth.
Even with all his fame and success, Chris Brown has faced some really tough mental health battles. In his documentary, Welcome to My Life, he got real about how, after that very public incident with Rihanna, he actually thought about suicide, showing just how heavy that emotional weight was on him. Then, in a 2014 interview, Chris opened up about his struggles with addiction, admitting there were times he'd literally pass out in the studio from substance use. Chris Brown's journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster, packed with epic highs, headline-making drama, and personal challenges. But through it all, he's kept crushing it in the music world, dropping hit after hit and holding on to a loyal fan base that stuck with him no matter what. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at Chris's lavish lifestyle. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Catch you in the next one.